As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Some politicians lacking brains said in voices dripping sweet, we don't really need these trains, railroads all are obsolete. They're union strong, it makes demands. They guard their yards with railroad dicks who kick our cops clean off their lands. Do not like our politics. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. So the politicians passed some laws to screw more money off the trains and deeper dip their pudgy paws in more control of railroad gains. The railroad said, get off our land. They went on strike to show their peak. The grain trains stopped their rolling and the city starved within a week. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Hunger riots burned and rose and battered down the State House door, and all those fat politicos were killed and eaten by the poor. And with the city out of joint and no more politician men, the railroad said they'd prove their point and sent the grain trains down again. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains.
Good morning, Minecraft. Wandering Beekeeper here. How you doing? Pardon me if I'm hitting the anxiolytics a little more heavily today. It has been a week. It has been a year. You know, the usual introduction of, oh my God, there's all this shit going on. Adult content, warning for language, drug references, sex jokes. Yeah, there will be a dick joke sooner or later. Okay, there it is. We've covered all three of the bases. Moving right along. Oh, lordy, it is a morning. I am here. We are playing Minecraft, theoretically. Yeah, it has just been an utter and complete thing this week. There's a lot of political stuff going on. There's a lot of other bullshit going on, and I would just like to remind you that today is a good day to seize the means of production. Speaking of the means of production, let us, whoops, where did my window capture go? I know I had it set up earlier. There it is. Okay. Right. I quit the game to update 0, and it, okay, right. Bada bing, bada boom. Always check these things before broadcast time. Really ought to. Okay, got a broadcast here. Got a game on the screen. Got a blast furnace on the screen. Been working with the Factory Must Grow. Now, I'm going to do a quick environmental parameter check here. I am running under Minecraft 1.20.1 with NeoForge. Running pretty much most of the Create suite. I'm running a lot of mods here. This one is the Factory Must Grow, which Dr. Mango T has gotten into, is proving a point here, proving a concept that Create can be a platform for further expansion. This mod, like Create Diesel Generators, takes Create into the diesel era, but it does so in a more Create fashion. I have been much more pleased with it thus far. It like most industrial mods, it starts off with first you build a coke oven. And you will be processing coal into coke and doing a few other things. This is a blast furnace. This is a later stage here. I'm hanging around here because I've actually got a little bit of molten steel accumulated in the tank from it. This is a familiar world. We've been here before. This is the mansion factory with the Skyland next to it with the monorail and the whole bit. We've been here before. This is a familiar world. Just doing a bit more expansion in it. The blast furnace is made from fire brick, which is made from fire clay, which you have to find a vein of, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. Fortunately, I have a Terra Shatterer from Britannia that I'm brought in because, yes, I am going to carry a quarry in my pocket. Thank you. That one green pickaxe does all the work of a Create quarry without all the fancy equipment. Just keep it charged up in a monopool and everything will be fine. So we are chugging along here. What we are doing is we are processing our charge into molten steel and molten slag. The blast furnace loads from the top. Now, important pro tip, do not load more than one stack of charge and fuel at any given time. Let them run down to zero before you throw the next stack in. You can throw a lot of stacks in at once, but most of it will get voided. The blast furnace has a one stack internal storage for charge. And if you're not familiar with the terminology, the charge is the mix of metal and other compounds that is loaded in to be melted down into your end product. In this case, we're using a mix of lime sand and crushed raw iron. Lime sand is obtained by running limestone through a crusher, and crushed raw iron by running your raw iron that your iron ore drops through a crusher. I mean, it's that simple. And it is not complex, it's just tedious. I've spent a lot of time off stream doing the processing to get the materials to go where we're going today. Now, I am playing in about a half creative mode. I will be teleporting around and doing some give commands and some other shit. But the point here is to play through and see what's going on here with this. And already learned a few things. Finding fire clay is a bit of a pill, but you don't need a huge quantity of it. Just enough to build this blast furnace. Maybe make a few other things, a few bricks here and there. It's not a lot. Once you've got the blast furnace put together, getting it going is a little tricky, and you have to babysit it. The blast furnace requires babysitting. There is no way around it. It will sit here and chew through its charge and its fuel. The fuel, by the way, is coal coke dust, which is produced, again, there's a crusher involved. You put coal coke through the crusher to get the dust, and you put coal through coking ovens to get the coal coke. Now, by now, if you've been following me this long, I mean, this is the 15th stream for Minecraft Trains and Tech. I have held forth on Victorian technology and the process of making coke and so forth enough. I am going to talk a bit more about the side effects because, dear God, have we got side effects. What we also have are 2 entire stacks of blocks of steel that can be broken down into steel ingots and done so much with. I'm casting, and this is worth looking at here because we're using a cast iron system here. This is not a standard create basin, this is a casting basin. It is fitted with a block mold made from clay that the molten steel spouts into. And eventually this will fill up with molten steel, and then it will cool for a moment before it tips out a block of steel to be carted off into the inventory. This will continue to fill from there and from the blast furnace. And then over here, the slag goes into there and then into a cold mixer where it gets frothed and turned into this powder. Now, the powdered slag is a major ingredient in concrete, and I have not set up concrete processing yet. That's going to wait for later. We'll do concrete processing later on. All right, so we've looked at a bit of this, and I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that, I'm running 120.1, and let us just go look here. Mods, I've got a lot of mods going. Complete list would take too darned long. This one is the Factory Must Grow. It's the 0.8.0b version that was released in February of this year. It is the latest version, and 1.20.1 is the highest Minecraft version that mod supports. Now, the Factory Must Grow has environmental stuff in it. You need it at world creation. Don't put it in later. If you put it in later, you're going to have to go out past areas you've already explored. Oh, there's our slag mixer kicking off. I heard it blooping. You're going to have to go out past territory you've already explored in order to find oil. And that is kind of what I've had to do because we're going to be going up all the way out to here to get to the pump jack. Now, to get there, I can ride around to the this coal deposit, or this redstone deposit rather, where the train actually stops. Let's look at a few other things before we go bouncing off that direction here. Hooray for the compressed air jetpack. And there goes our train. And any bets that it is on its way to... It's on its way to Iron Station. Redstone Station is way down the line. We got a little while here. Got a few minutes before the train comes by. Nothing much new going on here, just the crusher, which has been really, really important. I've been feeding it a lot of crimsite for the iron and bauxite for the aluminum and limestone for the lime sand. Hello, Bamboo Express. That is our passenger train. It doesn't, unfortunately, go where we need to, so we're going to have to ride the cargo train, and that's going to be a little uncomfortable. Let's see. I don't think I did anything new here. The new stuff is all in the house. Let me just kick off here so that I get better speed for my travel time here. And then we'll want to turn it off once we get in. Now, have had some stuff going on in here. The dual action mixer here put together the blasting mix. The blasting mix that I'm using, this stuff, blasting mixture, is just a matter of, it goes into the blast furnace and produces the molten steel and the slag, and there it is. And crushed raw iron and lime sand. And you get your lime sand from sending limestone through the crusher wheels. So yeah, a lot of time spent at the crusher, a lot of time spent with the mixer and the stomper and so forth. Did have to do some new stuff upstairs. Oh lordy, I had to do some new stuff upstairs. We'll get to that in a moment. The deployer now has a fourth hand because I had to make steel mechanisms which take 4 deployers. Steel mechanisms are used to make the pump jack parts that I'm going to be hopefully deploying shortly, a lot of which were built in the mechanical crafter. And we have a new stomping machine here with 3 mechanical presses, because if you're going to take a steel ingot and turn it into a heavy plate, it's going to take a lot of stompy. You know, we're going to take steel ingot here that derived from the steel block that we just made out back, and it takes 3 stompies to make heavy plate. Heavy plate is used in the refinery machinery and so forth, the way cast iron plate is used in a lot of create machinery, the way iron plate is used in a lot of create stuff. Yeah, you're using heavy plate at this point in this mod. I'm going to be making a lot of it, so I have the machine and we make a lot of stompy. We also make a lot of something else, and that's really bothering me because it feels like there ought to be more that we're doing with it. And I'm thinking that eventually there's going to be, okay, that's going to be the train coming in for the iron station, I think. Now this is our first generator, which is now powering the coking room. Here's the coking room next door with the creosote. Oh my god, the creosote. The coking ovens, which are stalled out right now because the creosote is stalled out. I have put... Now, damn it. Where did the hole go? There we are. Helps if you watch where you step. Important safety tip. Put a trap door over that. The process of making coke, you have to have a coke oven. I didn't need this many. I really could have done with like 2 or 3. I didn't need a whole bank of 7. The Ponder animation suggested that I would need a bank because they run slowly. They don't run as slowly as I thought. And getting rid of the CO2 that they're producing was easy. I set up a pipe across the top, and I set up an exhaust stack outside and just flung it into the atmosphere because I'm in an infinite world where there is no climate change. This would be horribly irresponsible in an actual, ecosphere where I'm chunking that much CO2 just right out the fucking window. not a thing you would actually want to do in real life, a thing that we did in fact do in real life because Victorian technology depended on coke, which also produces creosote. Now, creosote is a useful substance, also known as coal tar. Coal tar goes into delousing shampoo. It goes into raincoats. The very first raincoats made by Mr. Macintosh. Yes, there's a reason why people refer to a raincoat as a Mac. It was originally a Macintosh, which was the brand name, like Kleenex. It became a generic. But Mr. Macintosh came up with the idea of using coal tar to sandwich a couple of fabrics together and making a waterproof fabric that you could then make a raincoat out of. Unfortunately, his first raincoats smelled like a hot road. That was a thing. Creosote is a useful thing, but there's no real use for it in this mod, and as a result, I have tanks and tanks full of creosote. Oh my god, I have so much creosote. The coke ovens are backed up and unable to finish the run that they were doing because there's nowhere to put all the goddamn creosote. Holy fucking hell, the creosote. Why does this mod produce so much of a substance it doesn't have a use for? I mean, just there's no excuse for it. We'll put up a new tank and we'll start making some start taking off some creosote here. I'm not even gonna bother making the damn things here. I need them now. I need... Oops. There we go. I need a new 720 bucket tank here, taking creosote off of the system. So that I can finish producing the coke. Good. Golly gosh. And these ovens aren't going to finish. There we go. And, oh, let's watch this one open because this is a little bit terrifying. This is... Yeah, there's our coke oven opening up and dumping out the finished coke. Little glimpse into hell there. And all the creosote and CO2 being produced from the... And the mod doesn't do anything with it. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you produce so much of a substance without having a use for it? All I can figure is that this is the 0.8 version of the mod. By the 1.0, there will be a use for all this goddamn creosote. There really does need to be a use for all this goddamn creosote. I am so tired of having so many tanks full of creosote. Oh my gosh. Good. Just the amount of creosote. And I was even throwing it in buckets, and I've got 1,200 buckets of creosote in my Tom's Simple Storage system. Bucket after... And those are individual buckets, damn it. Taking up space. Oof. This got to the point where a couple of these tanks actually extend up into the 3rd floor of the house. I mean, really. Let's walk around and have a look here. Oh, hush. The jetpack does not like the elevator. Yeah, this is the back hall here. Let's go around to the front hall. There we go. Yeah. So, yeah, front hall of the third floor, and there's two creosote tanks sticking up all the way through, all the way to the roof of the building. 1,500 buckets each full. Why? Please, Dr. Mango Tea, explain to me what all this creosote is going to be used for. I'm hoping I will be feeding it through a fractioning column. I mean, this is a refinery mod. The big tech at the center of it is, in fact, a refinery. All right, let's go meet the train. Put that away, put that away, put that away. I'm not mucking with the blast furnace anymore. Clear the inventory. Let's see which train this is coming in. Where it's going. I think this is the one I want to be aboard. Yes. Okay, this is going to be a rough trip, as there's no seat here. They ought to be. I do, in fact, have a seat that I could. No, can't. Shit. I'm just gonna have to manage here. You know what? Oh no. Bye, piggy. Screw it. I'm bailing. That's going to be too rough of a ride, and it's going to overclock my system also. Let us just go out to pump jack platform. Boop. Here we go. Here we are at the pump jack platform. And we'll wait for the world to load in and watch my heat for a minute, as it's probably going to surge a bit from chunk loads. Jimmy? Yep. Pillager tower over there on the far side of the water. I'm in peaceful mode, so there are no pillagers, and even if there were, that's rather a nice lot of water between me and them. This platform of cobbled deep slate is over an open shaft that goes all the way down to bedrock, because that's where the oil deposit is. You have to find the oil deposit and then cut down to it, and that is one of the reasons why I carry the Terra Shatterer, because if I have to dig all the way down to bedrock to find the oil deposit and then deal with it going gusher, and it spouts up 3 or 4 blocks, and you have to get it contained and get a pipe into it, and a bit of a challenge. All right, we're going to trim this off, even with the top here. I'm going to sit this out. Here's our parts locker. Put this in with the rest of the industrial pipe. There we go. Haven't done this before. Let's see. Place a pump jack base on top of the industrial pipes. The pump jack base is a complex device. Yeah, it's expecting a diesel engine running it. So we're going to work our way through this. First, attach the pump jack base. Deposit info, no deposit found. What? The fuck you say? If I got a piece missing in the piping, let me have the industrial pipe and go make sure that the pipe is solid all the way fucking down. Is my jetpack on? Yes, it is. Okay. Now we're just going to trace this pipe down. Follow it down. Make absolutely sure shit. Am I in the wrong? Oh damn. That's oil. That looks like it's a deposit, like it's the oil deposit there. But I've got what looks like oil flowing here. All right, I'm going to break this pipe here. And shit. Am I off by one here? If I am off by one, I'm going to scream. No? Come on, damn it. Don't do that to me. I need to see this. Come on, come on. Turn the jetpack off a second here. If I can get down here. That is very definitely an oil deposit. No question about it. Yeah, thanks. This is why I carry a spare. But Jimmy, what? All right. That is very definitely into the oil deposit. And this is an unbroken pipe going all the way up to the surface. Unbroken pipe going all the way up to the surface to the pump jack base, which is saying no deposit found. I'm going to say that that's because we haven't connected everything up yet. And just continue on with the build. Alright, so we're supposed to put a couple of steel truss 2 blocks away from the pump jack base. Shit. Right? Pump jack base, pump jack base, pump jack base. Pump jack base. Pump jack base. Hold W to ponder. And there's our pipe coming up. And we are 1, 2 away. Yes, okay. Sure, we're there. Place the pump jack hammer holder on top of the steel trusses facing the pump jack base. Pump jack hammer holder facing the pump jack base. I'm going to be reviewing the ponder frequently. This is engineering. Yes, it is supposed to go that way. Okay. Place a pump jack hammer part on top of the pump jack hammer holder and place 2 more on both sides each. Pump jack hammer part. Let's watch this again. About to hit this point. There's that. And okay, they're doing right. Okay. Got it. Let's turn in the wrong direction. Didn't place correctly. There we go. That's our create, giving me the extension arrow like a shaft or a railway track. That's good. Proper GUI design. Nice to see. Okay. Pump jack hammer on the way facing to the pump jack base. Place a pump jack hammerhead on the pump jack hammer part. Go get the hammerhead. Here's the hammerhead. Okay. Blap. There's the hammerhead. Is that correct? Let's look. Looks right here. Okay. On the other side of the pump jack hammer, place 1 pump jack hammer connector. Now, I've had to build a bunch of these pieces along the way. As I said, I've done a bunch of work off stream. The hammer connector, for example, is just a straight up build here, but the crank requires a mechanical crafting effort, as does the pump jack base, and it has its 2 steel mechanisms which require the forward deployer pass here with adding, using a screwdriver to screw it all together. So yeah. All right, so we've got that far. Place one can under the pump jack hammer connector. Place a machine input. Here is a machine input, and we're supposed to place it under the connector. I think this direction. Let us look. There it is. Okay, it is 2 blocks away from there, and it has to be facing that way for the crank to be able to connect to that engine. Okay. Place a pump jack crank on top of the machine input facing the hammer. Okay, there's our crank. Glue the pump jack hammer together with super glue. Okay, now let's make sure of what it's wanting me to glue together here. It says the hammer. I'm thinking that's that entire assembly on top there. That's going to be the rocker arm. Super glue is needed to finish the structure. Okay. All right. We're going to super glue that. First position selected. Clicking in to confirm. All right, that's connected. Hey! We do, in fact, see a wire from the head down to the pump jack. Deposit info, 0 buckets. There we go. We've got something going here. We've got wires connecting from here to there. Alrighty. If you did it correct, there should be wires connected from the pump jack hammerhead to the pump jack base and wires from the pump jack hammer connector to the pump jack crank. Yes, there are. Okay, we've got all this in place. Now, I got a bunch of other stuff here that needs to be dealt with, but yeah, the big deal here now is figuring out where is the oil coming off from here, and how much power do I need to put on it here. That's going to be a thing. What kind of rotational power does it really require? All right. But hey, I have assembled a pump jack which is better than Create Diesel Generators was able to do. Its pump jack would not assemble. This one, here we go. Let's just have a quick look here. Willamist arrives in time for Technobabble. Hooray! Yeah, I have a pump jack here that I just finished assembling. This thing has been a beast. It has taken me 2 days of off-stream work to get to the point of being able to assemble this damn thing. The pump, well head here sits atop a pipe that literally goes all the way down to bedrock. I mean, we can look down here in the hole and we can see this pipe. It goes all the way down to thumping bedrock, to where the oil deposit itself actually is. You have to stick the pipe to the oil deposit, which is a black blob on a piece of bedrock. You have to find the bedrock with the black blob that is emitting oil. It's not that hard to find. There's a gusher around it. You'll have to fight the gusher to get the wellhead capped. It's realistic that way. Once you uncork it, there's pressure behind it. You got to get a pipe in it and get it sealed, get it corked, get it under control. Now I need to power this beast. First, I'm going to see what trapdoors I got here, because I don't need to leave these holes just uncovered. Those go down an awfully long way. Now I got to figure out power to bring to this thing and where I'm going to take the fluids off from. And let's just give a quick ponder to the pump jack base one more time here and see if it gives me any clue as to the next steps. No, it doesn't. It's not giving me any clue as to where to hook the output pipe. Where's the outflow pipe? Where's my outflow going to be? I'm expecting the outflow from the wellhead, and that I should probably have a pipe hooked up here with a pump going out to a big holding tank. I'm going to need a big holding tank anyway for the loading platform I'm going to bring around the tanker car at some point. Really whoosh. All right. I got to think about power. Let us start off with something fairly simple. Just going to grab fluid tank and put away the super glue, because that's dangerous stuff to have laying around. And I don't think I'll need the scaffolding anymore. Might need the diving helmet. Oh no, that's just nah. All right, let's just put a tank. Let's see, turn that off. Turn the jetpack off so that I can drop down here. And thinking about where I want to put this, I want to center it here. Ah! Don't do that. That's rude. Oops. There. Get a big tank built. If I'm going to build a tank, I'm going to build a big tank. And I'm just going to try sticking a pipe straight across to there, and it did latch on. I do have a connection there. I have a connection. And we're going to just stick a creative motor on it real quick for testing. I will put a proper power system on it later. But I need to test this thing and see what happens. Let's crank that up and see what we get. Well, we got crude oil. It just ain't going into the tank because we don't have a pump. Okay, got to have a pump here. No problem. Let's see. See. Make a pump. Oh, turn that off a second here. I'll get in my way. This will get replaced with an electric motor or something later on. Testing purposes. Oh, hey, I'm seeing oil. Crude oil. Let's crank it up. Ooh-ha. Look at that. That's actually go. Woo. That's actually seriously going. All right. Now, is there a limit to the deposit? I don't know if the deposit has a limit to how much oil I can get out of it. Or if it's like ore excavation and just keeps outputting forever. If it keeps outputting forever, then the steel investment and the massive outlay of getting all this done, it becomes so much more worth it. Okay, yeah, we are getting a nice flow of crude oil here. I just want to monitor this for a few minutes. I've never done this one before. The wellhead has 8 buckets in it. The capacity and the deposit is just sort of riffling. I'm spinning. I don't know what's going on with that. Power level of 3. Yeah, this is the thing here. We've got crude oil flowing into this tank. I need to get that oil back to the mansion so that I can set up the refinery, because I have a lot of pieces parts here. I have distillation outputs, both cast iron and steel. Steel is used for the big tower that breaks the, well, I mean, let's just look at it. I don't think I'm going to get it built this particular stream, as I have a railroad to Navi before I can do that. So let's just look at this here and ponder the distillation controller. That is a massive, it is sufficiently large. That is a massive, that is 39 steel fluid tanks stacked up in a pillar, in a 3x3 pillar, with blaze burners underneath, and Yeah, you feed crude oil into the controller down here, and you have a fractioning column then that gives you all these other bits and such. Let us go here and just give a right click to that. Because, yeah, once you build this thing, you feed crude oil into this tower. Bear in mind, this mod is made for building industrial refineries, and it is going to take an industrial refinery. That thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks high. Not kidding around. With massive amounts of steel fluid tank involved, industrial pipe, distillation outputs that I've had to make, which all of which have to be made in the mechanical crafter. The crude oil will get fractioned into heavy oil, diesel, kerosene, naphtha, gasoline, and LPG. Now, the heavy oil will go on to a second steel column. Oh, come on, you. There we go. Okay. That breaks all that down. I think at this point we're going over to the... Okay, we don't. We go to the... There we go. The heavy oil goes to a cast iron tower. That's just the controller, and for distillation outputs, there's no tank involved. The heavy oil then gets fractioned into diesel and 2 fractions of lubrication oil, which can get fed back around to diesel engines. Also produces sulfur dust and bitumen can then be processed into asphalt. So I can do asphalt paving. The naphtha that comes off the big column goes to its own cast iron column and becomes propylene and ethylene, both of which get fed into mixers and turned into plastic. So I'll be producing plastic in the near future. Assuming I can get all this built. Right now, okay, I've got crude oil being produced. I've got apparently a limitless supply of crude oil available here. I'm going to stop that and finish pumping this out. Take that off. We have, I think, proved the concept here, you know. Concept is proven. I need to get actual power onto this, which is going to take some hefty power. I'm going to need some oomph here. Need to think about what I'm going to use for my power. They want me to use an engine, and that's kind of, okay, what do I use for the fuel for the engine? Because I don't have the crude oil back to the refinery yet. But I got 442 buckets of crude oil here ready to go. Now, I have to build a rail line and a fuel load and a liquid loading terminal to take that crude oil from this desert across this plain to this railway line here, which will then allow me to take it back down to the factory where I will build the refinery, because I want to do the refining at the location where I've already got all my heavy machinery set up here. I want to put the refinery at the factory, probably like out here in this area. I don't want to put the refinery in the building. That's, I mean, putting the coke in the, ooh, putting the coke processing in the factory was bad enough. I've got all these tanks of creosote, and I need a tank farm. God damn it, outdoors, not in the house. So yeah, the refinery's going to have a tank farm. It's going to have all sorts of stuff going on, and some of which is potentially explosive. I think I'm not sure. We'll find out. But I got to bring it back to there. So the next thing to do is to start navigating the rail line. The rail line is going to go across here. And we'll put a loader here and just pipe the crude oil from the tank offshore to onshore to the train. Very typical, actually. I'm doing offshore drilling here. Yay. I'm doing offshore drilling for oil. We've already talked about the climate change thing and the fact that this is all a really bad idea and that petroleum really ought to be left in the ground, not having all that CO2 dumped into the atmosphere. But this is Minecraft, and it's an infinite world, and I can dump as much crap into the environment as I want and not have to ever worry about it. Unfortunately, some people treat reality like that. Can't do that. We're in a closed system. Finite planet. And no, we haven't gotten off it yet. Let us go to the map and see over here what is my level grade. I am grade level at 77. Okay. Well, hey, that's a train signal. I got a station here. Huh. I got a station here. I just got no activation of it. Signal here. And there we go. There's this train that's a signal. Station is all the way up here. There we go. There's my station. Okay, signals there. All right. Where do I want to put my connectors? I'm going to put my connectors on either side of the station. So I want to go up here. Let's see, stone bricks, lots of stone bricks. Gonna be navying for a bit. That's an interesting word. Let's talk about that. Navvy, Victorian slang for a laborer, specifically one who worked on the rail lines, clearing the path and laying the tracks. The term comes from navigator, and came to be both a noun and a verb, as such things tend to do. All right, I'm going to need to go out. If I'm going to start from there, let's actually put here. Coming around this curve, I want to get onto a straightaway for a little bit here. let's actually start my curve from here. All right. Which is going to put me in on this track for the curve out. That's good. All right. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15. Shoot, I went off the diagonal. That off a minute. Pig. I will not tolerate any BS here. Not gonna have it. Not gonna have it. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Two. Okay. That laid. Rain just went by, so I should be safe for a minute. What to do is do a curve out here. Here. Like that. That gives me a switch line here. Alrighty. Almost returns. I am laying track at this point, and it was talking about the word navvy and how it is both a noun and a verb. It is the person who performs the labor, and it is also the act of performing the labor, specifically the labor of putting in a railroad line. Wow, that chewed through a lot of stone that quick. Boom, boom, boom. 3 stacks gone just like that, because what I hold in my left hand gets put in as bed underneath the rail. Let us go back to counting. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now my road bed is at 77. That's going to have to get cut. Boop. Seven, 12, 15, 15, 16, 17, 20. Okay. And then we have to start cutting. Okay, fine. Let's just take out a couple trees here. I have got an earworm. It's not a bad one. It's the Spanish entry for Eurovision this year. I'm actually trying not to talk about Eurovision much, which makes me a bit sad because I really enjoy it, but it's highly problematic this year, and there is a lot of political protest going on around it that I'm trying to be there for. All right. Horn of the Wild, handy little thing. Quick harvest of stuff. Let us lay the next bit of track. For that, I'll need to turn my jetpack back on. We will go. And then we have to do some clearing. Yes. Yes. We're going to use the Terra Chatterer. Lap. Pow. Okay, get on our center line here and just start in. What I want to do here I was off by one there, is to clear the roadway for railroad here. Sorry, bossy. Railroad will go through. I don't want to leave a lot of loose objects floating around. It's hard on the rendering engine. I run enough heat as it is. So we'll pick up all of that and huck it into the system, in the grid. Then go back and have a look here because I think I need to clear another layer. Yep, I need to clear one more layer. Yes. Oh yes. This must be. Roads will roll. And there we go. The right-of-way for the railroad is cleared and ready to go. Whew. Done the quick way. Yeah, I'm one of those save everything players. I'm horrible about it. I would rather put more chests into my Tom Simple storage room than not be able to stash another stack of dirt. But sometimes you need it, you know? I hate throwing anything out in Minecraft. I'm kind of the opposite in real life. I lived away from home for a few years, doing contract IT work, and learned that I actually needed a lot less material stuff in my life than I thought I did. Uh, it was quite a revelation. I actually live with a lot less stuff in my life now. Most of the stuff around me is not really mine. Whoops. Shit, I changed elevations. God damn it. Didn't catch it. Okay. We'll pop back to here. Alright. Oops. How did I not catch that? Bloody hell. Alright. Not a big deal. I just had to fire this thing off a few more times. Okay, okidy dokity, and we also have to get rid of this tree because it's going to overhang the rail line in an unfriendly way. Will cause problems. And you do not want to be wiped off a train by a tree branch at 30 miles an hour. Sometime I should talk about and maybe show a bit of video of how the mail got done in the era of trains and how mailbags actually work. Because mailbags are scary things. In order to protect the mail from being damaged by being dropped off or picked up by a train, by a moving train, and even if you're down to 5 miles an hour, it's still a moving train. I mean, come on. The mail was loaded into massive leather bags and strapped up better than some bondage outfits I've seen, ending with a tightly bound leather bundle of mail that weighed about 50 pounds. And this thing was scooped into a moving train at 15 miles an hour with an arrangement of nets that just yanked it off a hook and into the train car as it went by. And so this 50-pound bag comes hurtling into the train car at 15 miles an hour. That is not something you want to be in the way of. Really, really not. Okay, I think we are ready to start laying some track again. Be nice, wouldn't it? Would really like to lay some track. Not have to take it back up. That would be nice. I'm not going to worry about distance at this point. We're on the flat. So we're just going to go as far as we can with each run. Which I think is 30. 32, okay. Vroom zoom zoom. Vroom zoom zoom. Okay, let's get this out so I don't have grass growing up through the track. Yeah, there would be a whole crew of people who would go out ahead of the track and do all the land clearing and leveling and so forth that was necessary in order to put a railway through, and they were called navvies. There's, oh gosh, Ruth Goodman and Alex, and I don't remember the other gentleman's name, the three experiential historians that did, oh gosh, he did so much, Victorian Farm, Victorian Pharmacy, so on and so forth. Ruth Goodman is just one of my all-time favorite historians. She's absolutely brilliant. And I'm gonna make it to the far side. Yes? Snow? Yes! Okay, and put stone, brick in the way. There we go. Brilliant. And that has brought us all this way already. Where we are going, mind you, is here. It's going to take a little while to get there. They did a Victorian Railroad multi-part series that I thought was just really well done. The two gentlemen went to work in a Navy camp and forged railroad spikes because a lot of the there was an awful lot of fabrication that went on in the labor camp and in the work camp. The rails were brought in, but a lot of the spikes and nails and such were made in the work camp by the blacksmiths among the crew. So imagine that you wake up in a campsite and spend your day working at an open air forge making railroad spikes. Hard work, but it paid well. The navvies worked hard, but they also were infamous for playing hard. There were some towns that had no navvies rules, where the navvies were required to get their stuff and go back to their camp. You know, we will sell you booze, but you will not drink it here. You know, and when you're spending your day laying a railroad across a countryside, and that's brutally hard work. You know, we're talking serious old-time grafting here. That's another term. Still a little bit in use in England today, but not as nearly as much. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 27. There we go. Grafting used to be a slang term for working seriously hard. People who did the really serious, heavy stuff were the grafters. The people who put in the turbine that ran the mill. 6, 7. Trying to remember his name. Guy something or other. He's a British auto racer and mechanic, and sometimes presenter. He's kind of an odd duck, but very enthusiastic. He did a 6-episode mini-series. I think they were looking for the next Fred Dibney, and we're not going to ever have another Fred Dibney. I mean, Fred was one of a kind, and we just need to accept this, that we were lucky to have him when we did, and he's gone now, and we need to live with that. Used up a lot of rail all of a sudden. Boom, boom, boom. Once I start laying track, all that stuff that I dug out of inventory goes quick. Let's see now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, if you're interested in this level of technology, in the mechanical sort of stuff that Create does and the steam power and all that, there are all sorts of documentaries and such that are available for free. You can watch as much as you like. British Pathé, bless them, has put their entire catalog online in the public domain, and just put it out on YouTube. Said, here, this was all made at the expense of the UK taxpayer. It has all been paid for already. It's there for the use of the public. Please, there's decades of documentary footage available. Some of it really quite brilliant. All right, let's see now. I'm going to need more train track in my inventory, as I am about to run out. Let's see. Fortunately, I made very large quantities. One of the things about these industrial mods that I like is that it is much easier to make an extremely large quantity of a thing than just It is often easier just to make fantastic amounts of a thing rather than a small quantity. Just the way way industrial production works. The mods have modeled that aspect faithfully. There we go. Okay. Room zoom zoom. Okie doke, we are out at the end of our navigating here. Take down that tree at some point. And yeah, ripped through a couple of stacks of stuff there. There we are. Consolidate that all down. Egg can go there. All right, that tree needs to come down. How far along are we? We have gotten this far. I am going to go back to the factory in a few minutes and spend the end part of this stream going back through a few things that were there at the beginning, see where they've gotten to, that sort of thing. There's been some processing happening while we've been away. I do have some chunk loaders in this world. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 7, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ow. Okie doke, that lands us here, and I want to go on and get that laid here. So we're going to flip back. And lay track. There we go. Oh, not holding enough pavement blocks. Ooh, ran out of stone brick in my inventory there. Now, fortunately, I have a couple thousand stashed away for just such an emergency. There we go. Whappity. All right. We have gotten this far. And gone through that much stone brick that quick. 3 stacks just gone. Done. All going into the bridging that's being built here. And we have gotten this far. About halfway. Maybe a little less. Close enough. Going out to the pump jack platform. Ideally, what's going to happen is I'll lay track out to here. I wonder what went clang. That was interesting. Didn't much like that. Let us take this and edit it. 1661 489. There we go. We'll just scooch the teleport marker over to here so that it's not, in the way of so we're not teleporting into the pipe. That seemed to be where maybe the clang came from. So we have our pump jack built, and we have crude oil, and we need to bring a train line out here so that I can run a tanker car up here and load it up with crude oil, and from there take the crude oil to here, where I am hoping to build a refinery in this area over here, the other side, in this area here, the other side of the train platform. I'm planning on building the refinery in this area. Let us go on and stick the shulker box out here, because the shulker box has the parts for the refinery. Whew. Hello, Bamboo Express. Okay, I'm going to be laying track for a while. Let's do a little bit of rehash here and recap. I'm going to drop in over at my crusher. Yes, I did clear the bushes away from it just recently. It was getting to be a bit much. Put that on there, turn that off for a minute. And so, yeah, a lot of stuff going through the crusher these days. The bauxite to get the aluminum that went into a bunch of this, and crimsite because I needed an awful lot of crushed raw iron in order to make the steel. And then there's the coke ovens and the blast furnace. Let's go see our friend the blast furnace, because the blast furnace is kind of a neat thing. It's got a little bit of stuff in, but it doesn't have any fuel to work with right now, so we're going to give it some fuel. And then I'm going to want to give it some blasting mixture. So we'll add fuel to what is effectively a reverberatory furnace. This is called a blast furnace, but it is effectively a reverberatory furnace because it never has to be allowed to cool down. It's charged from the top. We add the charge of lime sand and crushed raw iron, to the top along with the coke that it will burn. And we tap off the steel and slag at the base with a pump, so it's a continuous flow. So it's a continuous throughput. That's the definition of a reverberatory furnace. Now, the design is very different here. This is very much a blast furnace. The coke is going in with the fuel. In a reverberatory furnace, the fuel does not ever come into contact with the charge. Instead, you heat the furnace itself. You heat the air in between the inner and outer layers of the furnace. The furnace has an inner chamber and an outer chamber encasing it, and you superheat the air flowing around the inner box, creating a convection effect. That then superheats the fire brick, and your charge goes in and is never in contact with the fuel, which is important because that means you can control your carbon balance in the metal much more carefully, much more accurately. You get a much better quality of steel out the far end. You never have to let it cool down. You feed fuel in and keep the box hot, and you shovel charge in one end and molten steel out the other, and you tap your steel out the other end and just keep it going. This is how industrial steel production gets moving. We are replicating that to an extent by using a pump to haul the steel out into a tank and keep it moving. It's not moving right now because there's no charge. There we go. Let's charge the oven. Thank you. Charge the furnace. All right. And we continue producing blocks of steel, which are necessary for all of this. Now, we've also... I've had to put in some new machinery here. And I'm really uncertain about the creosote. I'm hoping that the developer of The Factory Must Grow has something they're going to do with all that damn creosote. Because the sheer quantity of it... Now, I just added a new tank before we left. Let's see if it's full yet. Yes, it is. That tank is full. Alright, I'm going to add another tank and see if I can... I'm trying to clear out the coke ovens. Just trying to get them cleared out. They don't have any more coal being fed in, but they still have some left from their original charge, and trying to get that cleared out. And to clear it out, I have to be able to put the creosote somewhere. So we put in another tank and we start more creosote draining out of the system. Glory thumping Oski. Please, Dr. Mango Tea, tell us what will happen with all this bloody creosote. Now, once we have the refinery up and running, then I can start building engines, and that's going to be another thing entirely. No, this isn't as far along as I'd hoped. I got distracted earlier this week. The Amps mod pack came out for the and they reset the official server. And the Amps mod pack is the 1.20 update of the old Volts mod pack, which was based around electrodynamics and a bunch of other stuff. Actually, Volts might have been based around Buildcraft. Who knows? It's an old mod pack. Much loved. Amps is attempting to recreate the experience. It's based off the electrodynamics suite, so it does include ballistics and the ability to lob missiles at each other. And I spent about 3-4 days on the server before I finally realized that it was a little more hardcore than I was able to deal with. There came a point where I was dying and losing more equipment than I could replace the materials for. Every time I went mining, it was bad. Went caving or something, I was not able to get glowstone. I don't know why the nether was being so hard for me. It made no sense. The nether isn't normally that hard for me. But I could not get to glowstone. It didn't help that the Amps mod pack has Alex's mobs. And Alex's mobs brings a whole new level of difficulty. What finally did me in was I was going through a cave trying to collect some iron so I could make iron armor. I was wearing copper armor at that point, trying to collect iron to make better armor, and I got hit with a rocky roller from Alex's mobs, and that was just it. That was too much. I'm like, okay, this is a little more hardcore than I can handle. I'm not good enough at the hardcore survival rar stuff that to be able to do this. Alrighty. Cargo 1 is going to not be the only cargo train on the line. There's going to be a Cargo 2 because I'm going to need something with the tank car, and Cargo 2 will stop at a different point. Well, that was Cargo 2, wasn't it? Cargo 2 is the food train. I'm going to need a Cargo 3. Okay. Cargo 3 train. Cargo beep beep and run over Ether Bunny. Yeah, I'm getting a little punchy. It's getting late, and it's also... This is being an extremely political weekend. There has been a thing happen that should not have happened. And there is shit happening as a result of that thing, and I really don't want to go into it on my stream. The political slug across the bottom of the screen says enough already. You know, that's made my stance, I think, abundantly clear, and we'll just work from there. In the meantime, yes, I need to start thinking about... where the tank car offloader will go, and where Cargo 2 and 3 will stop. And in order to yeah, I'm going to have to think about this. I may have to put a couple of extra cars on. I wonder if I could just put an extra car... Oh, shoot! Guess who's in the way of the train? Dang it. What? I could put an extra car on here. I could put the tanker on the end of it. and then put that would give me, if I put a tanker car here, that would allow me to have the liquid unloader in this empty space, and yeah, then feed over to the refinery. That should work. That could work. It could work. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to do this. This is a very new thing to me. I've only been working with this mod for a couple of days. I've gotten through some of the basic levels, and we will see where we are next time. I'm going to wrap up just a couple minutes early here because I'm running out of things to rattle about. And I'm just going to go park my character here over by the crusher and watch the trains roll in. And we are going to go to the thank you screen because we're getting close enough to the top of the hour and I'm running out of things to fill time with. And I'm also fidgeting because of various other things that are happening today. Among other things, I need to go water the chickens. There's other stuff, but that's the next thing to happen. So, thank you so very much for being along. And hopefully I will have something more to show you next time. I would like to have a refinery and fractioning columns and all sorts of things happening. I have a week. Don't overwater them. Yeah, well, um, I just have to take a jug of water out and add it to the chicken water that they drink from. Not a big deal. We only have a few hens. We're living within the town limits of the city of Lebanon, Tennessee, and urban chickens are limited. Got to make sure we don't have any roos out there. They don't like roos. You know, I like roos, but not everybody likes to hear them all day. And they don't just crow in the morning. They crow whenever they damn well feel like it. Truck community streaming schedule in the top of the screen. There are other people streaming. Willow, are you streaming? Do I need to throw a raid to you? I am perfectly happy to throw a raid to you in the next couple of minutes. Even though I think you and I are the only, not this morning. Oh, sorry to hear. Sorry to hear. Oh, you have my empathy. Oh, the whole being old thing. Well, if you've enjoyed this particular episode, there are other VODs on YouTube. And I will be back tomorrow night with a more chill stream with Roots of Pacha as we continue to explore the storyline of the Pachans as this Neolithic people discovers agriculture and tries to work stuff out between their neighbors who have got some sort of old mad going on that they don't seem to be able to resolve, and our deity has sent us here because she is sad that these people are fighting, and she would like them to remember that they were that there's not that much difference between them and they ought to get along. Please, can they sort this out? It's unreasonable. What they're mad about is really unreasonable. It really is. So we'll be working with them